So this is interesting. I've already seen three stories about it this morning, and this one seems to be a little bit more comprehensive. Thank you, David, for that. Um, all right, so this is following the Chinese spy balloon.
Other pilots saying that when they looked at the object, they could identify no identifiable propulsion system, and they did not know how it was actually staying in the air.
It's Sunday, and I don't normally shoot videos on a Sunday, but
No identifiable propulsion system. So we're talking about another balloon. Because if you don't have a propulsion system, then you just have something floating in the air again, right? So we don't know what the hell they're trying to do, but it's probably China again. It's probably China again, but it might be Russia too, because they can follow the jet stream.
today is a weird day, as apparently now a second UFO was shot down over North America. And this comes after one was shot down on Friday. Now, we have to be clear. UFO does not mean alien. UFO means...
And just to be clear, the one that was shot down on Friday that we just learned about because they just started reporting about it is not the same one that was shot down a week ago over South Carolina. These are two additional objects.
Unidentified flying object. They're not quite sure what this is yet, but some of the reporting around it is incredibly bizarre. And I'm going to get to a headline later on that sort of rules out one possibility. But first here, this is what the Canadian Defense Minister, Anita Anand, announced about the one that was just shot over Yukon in Canada.
We have no further details about the object at this time, other than it appears to be a small cylindrical object and smaller than the one that was downed off the coast of North Carolina.
No, it's South Carolina.
Small cylindrical object. It doesn't appear to be a balloon like the one that was shot down last week. So this is a completely different sort of object shot down. Again, the second of its kind that was shot down over the past couple of days. So on Twitter, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced, "I ordered the takedown of an unidentified object that violated Canadian airspace. NORAD Command shot down the object over the Yukon. Canadian and U.S. aircraft were scrambled, and a U.S. F-22 successfully fired at the object." So, it was taken down quickly. I'll get some more, speculation around what the hell this is in a second here, but as PBS writes, F-22 fighter jets have now downed 3 objects in the airspace above the U.S. and Canada over 7 days. A stunning development in the skies that is raising questions on just what exactly is hovering overhead and who has sent them. At least one of the objects down was believed to be a spy balloon from China, but the other 2 have not yet been identified. Trudeau said the Canadian forces would recover the wreckage for study.
Right.
I hope we get some pictures.
Right.
I want to see what this thing looks like.
Well, I mean, because there's going to be all kinds of conspiracy theories that come out of this because there were already people developing conspiracy theories over the first balloon, right? And even though China put out a statement and took credit for the balloon, said it was just a weather balloon, it wasn't surveillance, whatever. I don't know one way or the other. But we have 2 more objects, and there's some posturing going on, it sounds like, because I don't think any one of these countries really want to engage in warfare that way, like a World War III type situation. I think, though, that they want to intimidate and put the American people and the Canadians at this point in fear of something happening.
So, let's hope we get some pictures of the wreckage so it isn't just a secret here. But here is CNN discussing this with some more details. This is about the one that was over Alaska, the Alaskan coast, on Friday that was shot down. And these are some very bizarre details.
Interesting. This is kind of unusual that these pilots saw different things, and that is sort of, I guess, adding to the mystery of all this.
Yeah, not even the pilots apparently were really able to identify what they saw. And just to take you back for a sec, on Thursday, the U.S. defense officials sent F-35 fighter jets up to try to figure out what this object was that was flying around near Alaska. Those pilots, we have learned, have given very conflicting accounts of what they actually experienced, with some pilots saying that the object interfered with the plane's sensors, other pilots saying that they didn't really experience that, other pilots saying that when they looked at the object, they could identify no identifiable propulsion system, and they did not know how it was actually staying in the air, cruising at that altitude of about 40,000 feet. So this has all added to the Pentagon's wariness of describing in more detail what this object actually is until they can get more information through the debris that they are recovering right now.
So some bizarre details.
Well, yeah, even more than that. One of the articles that I saw this morning also said that it was jamming their systems. That at least one of these objects was actually jamming their systems. So there's okay. So I think that we can deduce at this point that these are military operations, and obviously the Chinese were lying to us. In that statement, calling it a weather balloon, the first one, right? But they are sending more advanced technology, which is bizarre. That like within a week, they have more advanced technology coming at us. Like, why did they send us their low grade balloon first? Like, why?
Details there. Some of the pilots experienced some weirdness with their electronics on their flights. Both objects, so this is the one from Friday, and this also applies to the one that was shot down on Saturday. They were flying at about 40,000 feet and posed a threat to civilian flight, which is why they were shot down. And about the size of a small car. It appears the one that was, both of them, the one in Yukon and the one over the Alaskan coast, were both about the size of a small car, and just the whole thing is very, very weird. Now, there was also reporting that there may have been a third one. So this is over northern Montana, and listen to the reporting here from Fox.
That's right, Lawrence. Just seconds ago when we got off air, NORAD has released a statement about that FAA airspace closure that was just lifted over Montana, why that airspace was closed. I'm just going to read it. Quote, NORAD detected a radar anomaly and sent fighter aircraft to investigate. Those aircraft did not identify any object to correlate to the radar hits. NORAD will continue to monitor the situation. So that sounds, in layman's terms, Lawrence, like a false alarm. So they thought they had detected something, but it turns out after they scrambled fighter aircraft out of Portland, those would be F-15 Eagles, U.S. Air Reserve. They sent that over Montana, and they did not see anything.
Okay, so they didn't make visual contact. But also we know now that whatever technology is being sent over us also scrambles their systems. So if it's far enough away, they're not going to be able to detect it by their radars and stuff. If it's like not within visual contact. I don't know what's happening here. I'm not going to make any assumptions. I'm not going to be a conspiracy theorist, but obviously it's pretty strange.
Weird stuff. So there was a radar anomaly. They sent fighter jets to see what it was, and it wasn't there anymore. Now, again, it could have been just a false alarm, some mistake on the radar, but it would be quite a coincidence for that to happen the exact same weekend that two others were shot down over North America. Now, it's worth pointing this out. This is not really new, at least in terms of the spottings of the...
Just saying, I hope that they increase security over the Super Bowl today. Just saying. I hope that they increase security over the Super Bowl today.
These UFOs. So U.S. government logs more than 500 UFO reports with hundreds unexplained. So the initial report, I think, was 2020 or 2021. And since then, more have been openly discussed by the Pentagon, and how they, some of the stuff can be explained, and there's some mistakes. Others can't, and they don't know what they were. They weren't shot down, but they don't know what they were. And these ones were shot down again because they were in civilian airspace. Last thing here, it seems probably unlikely that it's China. China just spotted their own unidentified object flying near one of their port cities. There may be an update on this after I report this story, but they also are apparently now seeing a UFO. So I don't know what's going on. I can't pretend to know what's going on. Who knows what the hell's happening? There could be a logical explanation, but they shot them down. So we're gonna have to see what that wreckage actually is. Hopefully, we see some images of it. It's possible this is technology that another country has that we're not aware of, but to be flying without any visible way that these objects were flying and to be shot down, the whole thing is very bizarre. I don't want to jump to any conclusions, but it's weird. Very weird stuff. It's also worth pointing out, this is within the same 7 days or 8 days as China's balloon was shot down. So there could be a connection there because...
And they took credit for it. And now they're saying that they're seeing it too. That seems like a cover. That seems like a smoke screen, right? Because it seems pretty apparent that they lied about it, the first one being a weather balloon. But yeah, I don't know. This is, the thing is, they know that we have a lot of QAnoners. That we have a lot of people who are really into conspiracy theories. And so it could be that they're trying to create a narrative that we're being invaded from space or some such bullshit. That's unlikely. That's really unlikely, especially this kind of technology. This is like something that's floating with the jet stream. But obviously they've developed something. It's something, and it's got something that'll jam up scramble the radars of the fighter planes. So I hope they can figure this out pretty quickly.
Again, there's a big coincidence there as well. But considering this was not a balloon, I don't know. I don't know what's happening. But let's hope we get some updates, especially once we hear more about this wreckage.
Wow. All right. Well, happy Super Bowl Sunday, y'all.